Hello, beautiful soul family. Rebecca here. Welcome to another Monday Mastery, where we take a pulse on the energies, revisit a little bit of this last week, and look forward to what to expect. What guidance can we offer? It has been an interesting week, and I do believe we are in for a ride this coming week. So, as always, this is a timeless message. I will take just a couple of minutes to review what we have just experienced, look at a little bit of the solar weather, and then bring in the guidance for how to move forward. Of course, whenever you find this, it is relevant for you. Divine timing is always perfect. So, this past week was mild on the spectrum as far as geo weather, solar weather relative to solar maximum. We did have the week start off with 2 X-class flares on Monday. So that was sort of indicative of what is to come. We did also see a bit of geostorming in the last 24 hours. As of the time of making this video, we are currently at a KP8 on the index, which is a pretty severe geostorm. We did see Aurora Borealis last night in Wisconsin, which is pretty rare. Usually it stays in the northern hemispheres, but it is coming down pretty far considering how intense this geostorm is. That's not too surprising. So keep an eye out for that depending on where you're at in the world. If you are in the northern hemisphere, you may be able to see auroras in your area. As far as the week went, like I said, we started the week with 2 X-class solar flares. We had some pretty high M-class flares throughout the week as well. Tuesday was pretty mild. We did have Schumann resonance spiking almost every single day with the exception of Tuesday. We had a handful of M-class and C-class flares Tuesday, Wednesday. Again, another X-class flare on Thursday for the 888 fun date of August, otherwise known as the Lion's Gate to some. And then into Friday, another Schumann resonance spike, 10 M-class solar flares on Friday, which is pretty high. Saturday, we were back in the handful range. Again, another Schumann resonance spike, and we started to see the geostorming start to come in yesterday, Sunday. And again, like I said, we are at a KP8 as of the time of filming this video. So plenty of intensity, plenty of physical symptoms throughout the week. Lots of digestive discomfort and swelling, upset stomachs, body aches, cold-like symptoms or flu-like symptoms, sore throats, runny noses, but no one was really sick. So that's one of the fascinating parts of being a mentor or a coach or working directly with people is when you work with a lot of different people, you see some pretty significant, clear patterns. And so when you start to see this show up for a lot of different people, it's not just you. It's not just, it could just be the solar weather, right? It could be the energetic conditions. Tons of fatigue. As you know, if you follow me, you know that I follow Pat Donsworth on Facebook. That's where I get sort of the daily or moment to moment updates anytime solar flares are coming in. So if you have not already, definitely consider the source there. But she did notice that 48 hours after an X-class flare, the fatigue hits. And I noticed the same thing this week. So that's something to pay attention to. I know sometimes I'll get this sense, if you're solar weather sensitive like I am, I'll get this sense of something's up, something's coming in. I need to go ground right now. And I tend to look for what's coming. And now with this new insight, I also want to start to look at how far out are we from the things that have just arrived in the last 48 hours. And that sometimes can give us a sense of what we're dealing with. The reason I'm really big on solar weather, Schumann resonance, less so because that can really be affected by local weather, meaning like a lightning storm or something of that nature. And the measurement devices are very specific to locations in Italy and Rome. Being in the United States, those are pretty far away from me, Italy and Russia, I mean. But more so the geo weather, solar flares. When you are a person who has experienced complex trauma, you're learning to work with your nervous system, you're learning to read the signals of your body. It can be very important to understand when something external is actually what's activating you. And it's not always the trigger. It's not always a trauma response. And so if you have high levels of anxiety or you feel sort of that shaking in your nervous system, you feel the flu-like symptoms, or you feel extreme fatigue out of nowhere, it can be very helpful to start to watch the KP index and the Schumann resonance to see if something's going on. Or like I said, follow Pat Donsworth on Facebook, because when you start to feel it, and then you start to see the evidence, the scientific measurement devices are saying, yes, something's happening, then you know it's not just me. And it's, for whatever reason, that can be very helpful, because we also do have a tendency, especially again, those of us who've experienced complex trauma, to start to blame things or even blame ourselves, right? This person said something, it's their fault, or I didn't do something I should have, and so it's my fault. And it really quiets the excessively critical and toxic trauma brain, or like I like to call mine the little trauma demon that sits on my shoulder. It takes away any excuses that the toxic inner critic might want to focus on, and says, hey, it's just solar weather right now. Let's put our feet on the ground. Let's take a nap. Let's drink some water. Okay, so getting into the week, really interesting. My daughter, one of the three I have, has 4 personal planets in Cancer. She's extremely sensitive, more so than I am, which is very interesting. But she has been asking about August 12th. What's coming up on August 12th, Mom? And the second or third time she asked it, I took note. I said, there's nothing that I'm aware of, honey. I think I have a nail appointment. That's about it. So something about today, August 12th, seems to be of importance, whether or not that's her personally. I have a strong sense that this week is significant. Certainly astrologically, there's plenty of things pointing to some disruptive energies that are available this week as well. So really keep your head down, your eyes open, be prepared to stand in the eye of the storm, meaning hold your ground in the chaos, and don't allow yourself to be sucked into anything that might happen outside of us. Also remember, if it looks chaotic outside of us, our stability, our grounding, our holding steady in surrender, faith, and trust, connection to the divine is never more important. Think of it as we are the ones that steady the ship. Right? We can hold the anchor in the boat that gets tossed around in the chaos of the world. That it is so critically important to remember God is in charge, and everything is working out perfectly. Everything is working for us and not against us, and not happening to us. And while it sometimes can look messy when we pull all the crap out of the closet, this is actually a really good thing, because we're reorganizing and we're going to put things back in an orderly fashion. So whatever's happening around you, just trust that it's for the good, and that your steadiness in the eye of the storm, your holding still in the middle of the chaos, is actually very, very helpful. Focusing on the good that is coming from this, insisting on seeing the evidence of how this is serving us and working for us. All right, this past week, there was a lot of reevaluation, considering misalignments, really feeling into things that may have held true at one point that are no longer true, sort of a reevaluation of reviewing the guidance and feeling into, does this still hold true? Has this shifted and changed? And revisiting our vision even. What is your vision or your dream for the future, and how has that changed recently? So there's a lot of fluidity right now. And I do this when I'm trying to articulate feeling into the felt sense of things. And being willing to be adaptable. I'm getting a lot of sort of confirmation energy, goosebump kind of feeling, almost like angelic support on the back. So really be willing to be fluid, be flexible, be adaptable. What was true yesterday may no longer be true today or tomorrow. So really fine tune your discernment tools, your body, feeling into that felt sense of, is this true? Is this aligned? What is the new guidance? Consistently ask God, source, creator, divine, Yeshua, the Holy Spirit, for renewed clarity and guidance in every moment. This is interesting because none of this is on my notes. So there's some information that wants to come through. Use your body as the discernment tool that it is intended to be. When something feels like crap in the body, there is something that you are believing or thinking that is not true. And so we want to ask Jesus, Yeshua, Holy Spirit, Father, God, divine source creator, for eyes to see and ears to hear in every moment, being willing to surrender the ego attachment to how I want it to be, or what I want to perceive, or what I want to believe, and being willing to feel into that felt sense of truth in the body, right? So really align within yourself in every moment to what is true now, what is being called for now. Okay, which is really interesting because the phase of the moon as we move towards the full moon, it's called the waxing gibbous, and that is a time for review, for revision, and so all of these things, of course, are relevant to what is being called for right now. Add to that Mercury retrograde, so it's all fun. Review, revise, revisit, all the re's. Find new alignment and be willing to adjust your goals. Like I said, in the moment-to-moment process, in the day-to-day process, review and revisit and revise consistently. And that feels like it will be true for an extended period of time, not just this phase of the moon or retrograde or whatever. It's the speed of the energy of how quickly things are moving, and sometimes I hesitate to get too woo-woo because I really do like to be a grounded person. There's scientific fact that supports all of this. So I will venture to say that we move through timelines very, very quickly. It's like we're up and down all the time based on the energetic frequency. Again, sounding very woo-woo, but really if you're in fear and doubt and uncertainty and anger and frustration, you're bringing yourself down in timelines. And as you move into peace, serenity, certainty, clarity, trust, love, joy, bliss, peace, generosity, giving, you're moving up in timelines. So we're constantly moving. And again, this is scientific fact that they have proven that all time is now. They're like layers, pancake layers stacked on top of each other. And so we're constantly moving in between them. And you just add to that the process of ascension and moving into our higher selves, into our higher expression, towards heaven on earth. You can take 2 steps forward and 1 step back, and that's okay. That's all part of the process. We're actually moving circularly, but anyways, topic for another day. So be willing to adjust and to move fluidly, quickly. As these energies move faster, we are moving back and forth faster, using that felt sense of discernment in the body to feel how aligned am I right now? And if I'm misaligned, what's the mistruth? What am I believing that is not true? What lower frequency or vibration, meaning thought pattern, have I attached to, have I believed in, have I gone down the rabbit hole on? How do I put a stop to that momentum and step back into certainty, trust, surrender, faith, insisting on seeing the evidence of how this is working for me right now? I very, very much want to go into sort of the exact thoughts that you would think, but that would derail the intention of this video. I do feel like that's something that's being called for. So again, make sure you like and subscribe on the YouTube channel so that I can notify you in the future when I do put these videos out. Okay, coming back to notes. There's a partnership that is trying to come through, or many partnerships, or more unity is what it is, where we're coming together. We are not intended to be a single man on an island. We are meant to work together. We are meant to be unified and in our collaboration, right? The strength that I have will meet and fill the need or the gap. I will stand in the gap for someone else who has a quote unquote weakness, right? Not really a weakness, but really an opportunity for collaboration. So partnership, unity, we're coming together more and more. So you can help speed up the process by trying to partner in any way you can, even if that just means offering a smile to someone as you walk down the street. So as your dreams are being adjusted and revised, look for opportunities for collaboration and more unity, more coming together, more partnership. There's a lot of moving happening as well, not just energetically, not even just mentally, not even just physically within your existing environment, but physically moving home, moving house to new countries, new states. This is very much, it hasn't quite fallen into solidity for me yet, but it is very much top of mind where I can see I'm searching, being called to find the next place, and that hasn't fully presented yet. And be very, very clear. I don't know if you know this, but VIBE is actually an acronym: value and intention based education. You were born with value, and it really matters what your intentions are to use those talents and gifts that you were given. You have a purpose. And so we have to be really clear on what are our intentions. And so as you feel into how you are being called to move, whether it's just moving throughout your home or moving city and state, really look at what is your intention. Are you running from something, or are you moving towards something? Are you moving because of the political environment, or are you moving because this new place nurtures and feeds and holds my soul, right? So really be sure to move with those higher intentions. Don't move the way fear moves you, which I believe is a Rumi quote. We've also this past week been looking at what we're clinging to. There was over June and July, there was a lot of testing, a lot of old stuff that came up, a lot of purging, a lot of revisiting. And then we were stepping into sort of this new place of being that didn't really make itself very clear right off the bat. We're kind of still feeling into that, although I feel that's relatively solidified now. And it's like the move is kind of the next piece. But something happened over the last 2-ish, 3 months as we went through this. There was a tendency for more of those denser behaviors like clinging, controlling, trauma response type behaviors. And I very much noticed, especially in my own body this week, sort of the clenching, and control is one of the most common trauma responses. And so as we try to control things, we're gripping that steering wheel of life. It reminds me of when I was young, how I would sleep in such a tight fetal position that I literally would have fingernail marks on the insides of my hands. So these just wants to take a deep breath here. And that's exactly what's being called for right now, is recognizing when we get animated and we get activated and we're stepping into that clinging and that controlling, where we have to take the deep breath and scan your body and really look for all of the areas of tension, because it can be really sneaky. And maybe it's in your shoulders or your neck, maybe even in your jaw, or even in your forehead, in your temples, as you're overthinking things and you're clinging to trying to keep something in your life or trying to prevent something from happening. Where in this, especially last 48 hours, this release of the tension is being called for. We're being asked to step into more surrender, more stillness, slowing down the mind, because the more in the mind we get, the more activated we get, the more detached we are from each other, from the divine. Not sure if you've heard this before, but the veil, the separation, the illusion is your mind. It is your perception. And a miracle is a shift in perception. And the greatest perception that I have been able to facilitate, well, there's two. One is getting out of my mind and into my body, and just that breath of letting go and surrendering and softening into the body and letting it speak, letting it show you what needs to be seen. That's interesting. And also, again, asking for clarity, asking for eyes to see and ears to hear. Yeah, it's a fun message today. Lots coming through that wasn't even on the notes. And a lot of different themes here too. So just kind of stepping into something that seems very different and yet connects back is notice anytime you feel boredom, frustration, impatience, discontent, and anytime that comes up, anytime those uncomfortable, sort of wanting to crawl out of your skin or being unhappy in your place in life, anytime that comes up, let that be a red flag. And I don't know if you can hear the sirens, but there's some anime or some confirmation coming through there. So let that be the siren. Let that be the red flag that says, hey, pay attention. You are lacking presence in this moment. You are not paying attention to what is available. If you're feeling bored or discontent, the mind is going. We are very much in our heads. We are not in our bodies, and we are especially not aware of the energetic resources, messages, support that is coming through, that is available. So really get into the body and out of the mind. It means we're not paying attention to what is available to us in that moment. So what you'll notice is we're overthinking and things are not working, and how could that person, and why doesn't this, and right? Once you step into the stillness and step into the body, you're going to start to hear a bird chirping, and then you're going to notice the breeze, and then you're going to notice, maybe if you're lucky, you've got your feet on the ground, the quality of the texture of the grass on your feet. And in that place, that's the stillness. Be still and know that I am God. That's the place where we start to receive. And for some reason, even just in that statement, to receive sounds very selfish and self-centered and focused on ourselves. And that usually is what's causing the discontent and the boredom, is that self-referential poor me victim state, versus the receiving is not just, God giving you what you want, but rather just the knowing that things are flowing, things are happening, things are really, really good if you would allow yourself to see it, remembering that the brain and the mind and the eyes can only take in 0.0035% of reality. When you can step into that stillness, you will become aware of so much more. And you can start to command and call in with confidence. There's a word I'm looking for. Command with authority, I guess, to see the evidence of the support and the things that you are seeking. So let's put down the desire for control. Let's stop trying to force things. Let's stop trying to cling to things. Really notice when the body is clenching in such a way, or trying to control in such a way, that you're actually hurting yourself. My favorite class ever that I took was improv for anxiety at Second City in Chicago, probably 15, oh my gosh, maybe more, 20 years ago. But one of the techniques was to hold your body really tense, to tense every muscle, and then practice the release, and then to tense it, and then to release. And what you're doing is you're exercising the muscle of release. So really notice, where are you holding the tension, and consciously release that. You can always soften more, and you might feel like, well, I'm not tense. I bet you anything you can find a little bit more softness. I bet you anything you can let go just a little bit more, whether it's a thought process or a physical muscle release. What are you resisting or avoiding? The cave you fear holds the treasure you seek. And so when we're in the control and the frustration and the boredom and the discontent, and we're in the clinging, and we've got the tension in the body, that's pointing to something that we're resisting. Everything you seek is on the other side of resistance. And what the cave you fear holds the treasure you seek. So really look at, what is your greatest fear? What is the thing you're avoiding? What are you resisting? And sometimes we feel like, well, I'm clinging to my relationship because I don't want to let it go. We feel like, well, if I don't cling, then it's going to fade away. But sometimes it doesn't, and it actually just gets better. And you have cut yourself off in the clinging from what's trying to come through that would make that relationship even better. So really make a commitment to go towards the thing you fear, to go into the cave so that you can find the things that you seek, right? As you do the work works on you. This is the beautiful gift of stepping into purpose, using your gifts and your talents to be of service to the collective whole. The ideas that you have must be shared in order to grow. You cannot step into your purpose. You cannot formulate the perfect plan without action and actually doing the work. So as you do the work works on you. I believe that's an Alex Hormozi quote. And ideas must be shared in order to grow. When we are stagnant, oftentimes it is because we are so full of information. We have consumed as much as we can. We have no more capacity to consume anymore, and it's time to pour into others. This is a very, very common situation for many heart-centered, kind, good-hearted people who've experienced trauma, got stuck in that isolation phase, and want to be of service to the collective whole, but haven't healed the nervous system and the trauma enough that you can find the capacity or the strength or the tolerance to be able to be seen, show up, and pour into others. And so that stagnation is very, very uncomfortable. I lived there for a long time, and it feels like hell. It truly feels like hell. So know that if you're in that place, it is time. Your gifts are not your own. And I love this insight as it came through. Talents used to be used as a measure of currency. So your talent, your gifts, the reason you came here, your purpose, it is not your own. And it actually is very selfish. And I had to brace when I first heard this. It was selfish of me to be stuck in isolation and refuse to do the work to be able to be seen. And although many of us just don't know what it takes to be able to be okay with being seen, but sometimes when we hear the new perspective of it is actually selfish, that there's a little girl or a little boy hiding in their closet from their abusive step parent or parent who needs you to shine your light and to share your talents and share your gifts to help them heal, to help their parents heal, to help protect them, right? Do it for the people who are like you or who you were that need you. And when you think of a talent as being a measure of currency, it's meant to move between you and me. It's not just mine to hold on to. It's a gift. It is meant to be shared with the world, and we have a responsibility to share for the people who have gone through what you have gone through. If you are still in the early stages of healing, somatic work is absolutely critical. The body keeps the score. The body holds the key. The body knows how to heal you. Cognitive work can only take you so far. You've got to get into the body. That's why I offer free 30-minute sessions indefinitely. I've been doing this for 3 years, and I continue to see the evidence of how I am called to pour into those who need that support, that free support. Do it for the version of you that needs that healing, because, hold on, your purpose, if you are in an unhealed or isolated or stuck state, your purpose is healing. And as you move through that healing, then you regain your capacity, your energy. You start to rediscover who you were made to be before the world changed you. You start to realign to your original design. You start to put down the trauma responses, and thereby healing. When you heal the trauma, you have the energy to pour into others. And that's when you step into the divinely ordained purpose that you were born with. So your purpose initially is healing so that you can be who you were made to be. So then you can step into the purpose of helping others. And the wound is the way. Shoot, I'm going to forget the guy's name. If I can remember it, I will comment below, because I like to give credit where credit is due. But what you are healing or have gone through is your purpose, is what you will help others navigate. What else? Oh, self-referential thoughts are your source of suffering. This is so, so huge. Yes, when we were in that unhealed place, in that toxic environment, even in the world today, if you are not yet healed, those self-referential thoughts are necessary. What that means is when you're thinking about yourself, how do I get my needs met? How am I going to pay the bills? How am I going to survive? How am I going to keep that person from hurting me? What am I going to say? What should I have said? What did I say that I shouldn't have said? Damage control, essentially, which causes anxiety because you're trying to live in the future and you're living in other people's heads. All of this self-referential thinking was necessary to survive at one point, but is no longer helping you and is actually causing your suffering. So the trauma brain tends to be so inwardly focused in trying to survive and trying to stay safe. It becomes so habitual that we forget we are thinking about ourselves a lot. And it's not coming from an egoic place, but it does end up being very selfish and self-centered when we allow that pattern to continue and we don't put a stop to it. Let's remember, we are no longer in that war zone anymore. And if you are, please get yourself out so that you can start to heal. But if you are no longer in the toxic childhood or in the toxic relationship, you have to start to use the body to heal so that you can regain your capacity and recognize I'm no longer there. I don't need to think about myself all the time. And in fact, when I stop thinking about myself, my problems actually get solved a little bit more easily. I allow the divine to come in. I'm not cutting myself off through control and resistance and tension. And so then what do, right? You can't say to the child, just don't touch the hot stove. You say, come play with the Play-Doh, right? So what do? You pour into others. You think about others. I guarantee you, if you have a roof over your head and a screen to watch this on, you are better off than a lot of people out there. And if you go to a shelter or you go to even an animal humane society or animal shelter, something of that nature, and just contribute your time, just pour into someone or something else for a little bit, you will feel a million times better. And that is the energetic and vibrational frequency that you need to be able to receive. Because in the self-referential thoughts, we're in a very activated nervous system, which is very masculine, blocking and resistant, cutting ourselves off from God, source, creator, divine universe, and the ability to receive the things that we are in need of. So go pour into others. Go take care of a dog. Take a dog for a walk, right? Feed kittens, pet kittens, and you will feel a million times better. You cannot receive what you do not give. And when we're stuck in that self-referential thinking, we are not giving, and therefore we will not be able to receive. Ask. I love the etymology of the word asking. Remain as king by asking intelligent questions. Ask, how can I help? How can I be of service? Who can I pour into? Who can I help right now? And even, how do I shift this? How do I change this? But don't do it from a place of lack and then go into excessive thought and thinking and trying to solve that problem. You ask and you open and you sit into stillness and you release the body and you allow the presence and the energy and the feedback from your environment that is here right now to be able to come in, to speak to you, to guide you, and to help lead you towards the abundance, the provision, the fulfillment that you seek. It will come through healing and stepping into purpose so that you can pour into others. Do it for the little ones. Do it for the younger version of yourself that needed you. And as you do the work will work on you. And as you give, you are then allowing yourself to receive. All right. I love you, my friends. If you are waiting on divine timing, if you feel like I've been working towards this thing forever and it's not working for me, and when's God going to do this for me? And when am I going to receive that guidance? And when I've been trying to manifest and it's not working, definitely check out this weekend's video, Divine Timing. It is not what you think. And there is a reason that waiting for divine timing is keeping you stuck. So I love to continue to support you. I love you, my friends. Yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Namaste.